I really don't know what's going on YouTube at the moment, but I'm sure you've noticed the amount of allegations and admissions going around, it's pretty mad. You have guys like Minilad, Pyrocynical, who have all faced the wrath of allegations, some rightfully so, and it seems like there's some more allegations going around. Allegations against CallMeCarson. If you think this video is gonna be about the whole him stealing money rumor, nah, it's not. That rumor seems to be just that, a rumor. The allegations we're talking about today are a bit more serious. But before we get into the video, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see some more content like this, and if you really want to help the channel, become a member. CallMeCarson is being accused of messaging some of his minor fans in a very interesting way, if you get what I mean. In a recent interview with Drama Alert, some of CallMeCarson's old lunch club friends drop a few bombshells. Bombshells like this.
Well, I'm gonna stick to the facts here, which was that one day in March, he called me shortly before he told Travis. Everybody was up in LA and he told most of them face to face, but he called me and I picked up the phone and he was basically like, I have to tell you something. And then he told me that he underage girls, and I think that he said that they were fans, and that was what I was told.
I have a few glaring problems with this interview. One of these problems being the overall tone, and the other being the apparent evidence. To address the overall tone, it seems like these lot have forgotten an age-old rule. The rule of innocent until proven guilty. Now Carson may be guilty, but has this guilt been proven beyond reasonable doubt? No, it hasn't, and I'll explain why later. It seems like these lot sure as hell think he's guilty, but instead of going down the best path, the neutral path, no, it's already been proven. This happened. Carson did it. You can't do this. This completely destroys the credibility of this entire interview. It shows an insane bias. What if Carson is innocent? Now you lot just look like massive assholes. A good way to try to prove guilt is by showing evidence. And yes, this interview does try to provide evidence, but this evidence, it's laughable.
But at the end of the day, you guys do kind of have proof, right?
I mean, yeah, that he told all of us at the same time. I mean, I'm sure that when this is posted, none of them are going to deny that this is the truth because, I mean, they were there. I don't think they have any real reason to lie.
Nah, he told us all at the same time, I'll have you know. Straight out of the horse's mouth. Okay. Where's the proof of this actually happening? It isn't in the interview. Am I just meant to believe it because you've told me about it? I mean, surely you would provide screenshots of this happening if you were going on an interview accusing one of your peers of doing something to this magnitude. This evidence, it's not even evidence. But for the sake of the argument, let's say that this actually happened and they just didn't provide it. You see the issue here, right? People are gonna have so many doubts about your claims because you have nothing to back them up with. The only evidence you have is a conversation that can't even be double checked. It seems like this entire interview rides on this laughable evidence too. Maybe I overlooked something, but it seems like this is the only evidence provided in this video. How can you base your entire interview off of something so paper thin, something so easily disputed? It seems like this glaring flaw is just swept aside and never really addressed again. It's deemed as concrete, 100% proof that Carson is guilty. As there's no evidence in this video, I decided to go on a little bit of a hunt to find some. And I did find a few things. You know, Discord messages and all that type of stuff. These messages are from an apparent victim and somebody who was close to Carson.
I'm not into kids, but I did trade with people under the age of 18, which is very bad. I was 19. That's all you need right there. That's Carson's profile. There you go. There's all the stuff for that. And then, if you go down to the very bottom, Carson's situation, this tweet, he says, "This is absolutely disgusting. I figure you guys will be seeing this sooner or later, but yeah, absolutely gross messages confirming that this is true."
this seems like concrete proof that he did it. Sure, he did message a 17-year-old when he was 19, by his own admission, but there's a rumor floating around that this happened in Indiana. Why is this important? Well, the age of consent in Indiana is 16. During my little investigation, I delved into some legislation that pertains to this issue. In an article posted by, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, Suher and Associates LLC, they talk about this type of stuff. According to this article, having these types of conversations with somebody under the age of 14 is classified as child solicitation. They also mention the Romeo and Juliet clause, a clause that's being mentioned quite a lot, but I don't think this clause applies to this scenario, for the sole factor that Carson and the people he was talking to at the time weren't in a relationship. The next part of my investigation is where things started to not look that good for Carson. According to this article by criminaldefenselawyer.com, Carson could be charged with possession of CP if the exchanging of images took place. I'm not going to read this whole paragraph as it would probably lead to the video being age restricted and demonetized and all that type of stuff, but I'm going to have a censored version on screen now and a link in the description. The article by Suher and Associates will also be in the description if you want to have a look. To move on to the messages provided by an apparent victim, these messages are quite alarming. Is this the P word, however? No, it's not. Is it the G word though? Potentially, based off of this screenshot. I don't know if there was any other forms of messaging like this, but this message, it's not the best look. This seems really bad for Carson. But we have to keep in mind that we mustn't automatically believe victims either. The apparent victim provides a definition of grooming, particularly the dictionary definition of grooming. The dictionary is a secondary source of information. A primary source is stuff like legislation and all that type of stuff. So to compare the two types of sources we have here, primary being legislation and secondary being the dictionary, the age of consent as stipulated in legislation is 16. If something was to happen between these two individuals, it's incredibly bad, but it isn't the G word, as at the time of this event happening, the apparent victim was over the age of 16, over the age of consent. If she was younger than 16, it's a completely different story. I'm probably gonna have quite a few people disagreeing with me on my next point, but by the age of 17, you can withdraw from conversations that make you feel uncomfortable. If this girl was uncomfortable, she could have easily stopped messaging Carson. I don't know if she was uncomfortable or not, but some screenshots, they're quite interesting. Now, I'm by no means trying to justify what he did, because it's still pretty bad, but these screenshots don't really help the victim's case either. I don't want you lot to think that this is a video defending or accusing Carson of anything, because it isn't. We don't know both sides of the story. We only know the accuser's side. Before forming any concrete opinions, we need to wait for Carson's response. If the pyrocynical thing taught us anything, it's that staying neutral is the best course of action in these things, regardless of how damning a claim looks. Keeping all of this in mind though, don't run to defend Carson and go after the people in this interview and the people in this video. He has to address this, but his career, it may already be in jeopardy.